Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about the economics of Dungeons and Dragons today, because boy, have they changed! Wow! All right, wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! All right, so I just bought Dragonlance the Shadow of the Dragon Queen. Yeah, Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. And it is incredible how much it cost. It cost me $77. So let's talk about how we're buying Dungeons and Dragons books right now. It has massively changed. So at the beginning of 2022, I had a flow, right? And basically, I would roll into my FLGS, drop down $50, which has been the price for a Dungeons and Dragons Canon hardback for no less than 8 years. That price has maintained for 8 years. I paid $49.99 for my PHB at my FLGS in 2014, and and at the beginning of this year, I bought a D&D exactly the same type of Dungeons and Dragons Canon hardback, right? It's kind of 8.5 by 11, 256 pages. Those are the general parameters. That's a D&D Canon hardback, right? That $50 has maintained for 8 years. Well, it just changed. So let's talk about it. So first, I'll tell you right now, I love FLGSs, but you got to be the most non-thinking schmuck to be buying from your FLGS anymore. The idea that you're going to roll into your FLGS and be able to buy. So what was I going to do? I'm going to roll into my FLGS. I'm going to wait for my workday to be over, get out at 5:30, and then on release day, go up to my FLGS and hope that every copy of the Lord Soth cover is not already sold out. That's outrageous. I just had problems. I had to wait 2 weeks to get Spelljammer because it's sold out, right? So the reality is, you have to be you have to have an outrageously unrealistic view to buy from your FLGS, because the idea that it's going to be here in a world teetering on the brink of World War III, right? With a despot in Russia saying, I'm going to send NW arcs, like ships ain't flying, ships ain't flowing. The global distribution chain is broken on 3 different links, right? Like, so the idea that you're going to just wait, right? Because you could end up being out of a book for a month to 3 months. If you want a D&D book now, you had better pre-order it, right? Like that's the whole of it, right? And we just learned, if you want, like, that if you delay even as much as 3 weeks, the book you may get may be different, better, or worse than what you had even been able to get prior, right? So the reality is, only unengaged, actually, I would just say, people who care about D&D do not buy from FLGSs anymore, because they're going to want the book, and they're going to want it when their players care about it, which is the second it releases, right? Everybody's like, ooh, Sally, over on Oak Street is running, Spelljammer. You ain't got it? Why don't I just go to Sally's table, right? You want to run when people are excited about the book, right? So only people who don't care about Dungeons and Dragons are buying from FLGSs, which means you have to pre-order, right? So I just pre-ordered Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, right? And it cost me $77, right? Full retail price, not $1. And by the way, you cannot order this from Amazon. You cannot pre-order this from Amazon. Their deal is broken, right? And Dungeons and Dragons saying, we got the hottest product in the world, right? We're not just going to schlep it over to Amazon and let them, whack a third of the price off. The economics are changed fundamentally. So you cannot go over and put down your $32 order for a Dungeons and Dragons, for a hot, this thing is going to blast off the shelves, right? That Lord Soth cover, forget it. You are going to be so lucky if you're able to get your hands on one of those, right? Sly Flourish was willing to pay $170 for it and change distribution for all of Wizards of the Coast. based on his actions from it. Incredible, right? Like, there are stories coming out, like the economics of Dungeons & Dragons have just absolutely fundamentally changed. It is astounding what is happening right now. And so here's the thing. This is what you got to realize, right? So I spent $50, not 1 cent off the retail price, right, for a pre-order. Then I spent $10 to get the digital bundle, right? And that $10 also gives me 2 weeks early access. So I'll be reading this book on D&D Beyond with my free account, right? I don't have a subscription. 2 weeks before before it arrives, right? That's awesome and incredible, and I'm excited about that. $17 to get it shipped, which I know is I would say 80% profit straight to Wizards of the Coast, right? And how do I know that? Because I've had no less than 15 books shipped to me at $32 or less, shipping included, by Amazon, right? So they're saying $18 to make sure you have a copy of this book. Now I'm going to $17 to make sure you have a copy of this book. Now the reality is I wouldn't even think of not pre-ordering this, right? But the reality is, where do we land? That means I spent $77 for a $50 book. That means under Donald Trump, the books were $50. Under President Joe Biden, the books are 150% of the cost. That is what is required to get a book on time, right? And that is incredible, right? And because under President Trump, the digitals weren't even available. Wizards of the Coast, it was not even possible to buy the deal that I did. So the reality is, make sure you vote, right? Because I really 100% believe, that $17 that I'm losing out for this book, that lays 100% on the responsibility of Vladimir Putin putting the world on the brink of World War III, breaking the entire global supply chain, making sure that no country knows they'll be able to get even bread or milk tomorrow, let alone Dungeons & Dragons books, and including Dungeons & Dragons. So Vladimir Putin has taken the Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen book at a fair price, bought day of at FLGS, has stolen that from me, and President Biden does not have the wherewithal, the courage to get Goose and Maverick off the couch and end the war in Europe in 1 weekend, which we are completely capable of. So Vladimir Putin's cruelty, Joe Biden's cowardice have added $17 to my Dungeons & Dragons purchases. Get yourself to a voting booth every time it's possible. We got to fix this. That's my humble opinion. I'd love to hear yours. I'd love to hear your opinion on the D&D economics of a bog standard D&D Canon hardback today. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, or do your own video. I always love those responses. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.